Item 10B, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with JJR Construction, Inc. for the sidewalk repair program in the amount of $399,187 and approving the construction contract budget in the amount of $459,065.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of City Council. I'm here tonight to present the sidewalk repair contract as is relating to the sidewalk repair program. As you know, the goal of the sidewalk repair program is to make sidewalks safe and accessible for all users. To accomplish this goal, the city established a 6-year program in 2007 to repair damaged sidewalks identified in a citywide inventory. This inventory is then continuously updated as staff receive individual complaints. The target of this 6-year program is to address all the recorded city responsible sidewalk with 3/4 inch or greater defects. The program also has a property owner participation component, which provides the property owner the opportunity to use city contractors to repair their damaged sidewalks. To date, the city has completed 3 construction contracts and repaired over 1,000 damaged sidewalk locations. This item in front of you tonight is the 4th and the last contract for the current program. When this contract is completed, it will conclude this 6-year program. Staff will return to the City Council to discuss and recommend the new program as part of the CIP adoption process. This proposed contract will repair 397 locations with 3/4 inch or greater defects. The number is a combination of the initial sidewalk inventory and the updates from the individual complaints. If the City Council awards this contract, staff will mail letters notifying approximately 2,000 property owners of the participation program component. These property owners are the ones that have recorded 3/4 inch and above sidewalk deficiencies. Staff will also post the program opportunity on city website, cable, and insert a short program description in the utilities billing statements. Now, onto the specific of the proposed contract. Staff advertised this contract in April and received 2 bids. The lowest bidder is JJR Construction, and their bid amount is $399,187. After review of their bid proposal and reference check, staff confirmed that their bid is responsive and responsible. JJR Construction also completed the 3 previous construction contracts to repair city sidewalks. Staff recommend a 15% contingency for this contract, which brings to a total of $459,065 as the construction contract budget. This amount is funded by gas tax and Measure 8 as previously appropriated. Staff recommends the City Council to approve this contract. If approved, construction is anticipated to start in July. Staff will start notifying the property owners in June, and this contract is anticipated to end next July. That concludes my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, Ken?
Of the 397 installations, how many are private property responsibility?
The 397 locations are all city responsible locations. We estimate in the contract that approximately about 35 locations that might be an additional as part of the homeowner participation component.
Okay, and so the last time in the program, you said that there were 107 were private responsibility. Does that mean the 107 actually paid, or or they were just responsible? Because what I'm getting at is you lay it out that it's an advantage for the property owner, to contribute to take advantage of the contractor. I'm sure you don't have 100% participation, so what happens to those projects that don't participate?
Of the 107 locations that were paid for and by the property owner that are, of course, they're responsible to repair, they have shown interest. So we staff keep an active log of the homeowner that call continuously, and it's been very favorable for those that are interested to make their sidewalk safe for themselves and for their neighbors and the user of the sidewalk traveling.
So do they get repaired, or
Yes, they
or
do.
Are you
I'm
saying
just-
all 107 got repaired? I think that's the question.
Yes,
Okay, 100%.
100%.
and each of the private property owners paid their share?
Yes, 100% of the cost.
Okay.
Through the chair?
Irene?
Are you finished? Okay. First of all, for the public, what determines who's responsible? Like, what is a city responsibility and what is a resident responsibility?
Generally, is city responsible locations are next to a city maintained and city owned and city maintained tree. So a
Okay.
lot of the damaged sidewalk are caused by uprooting tree roots, and there are other locations where it just due to the old age of the infrastructure, and there's no apparent reason, just because it's basically that is old aged, and those are responsible by the homeowners.
Okay, so if a homeowner is responsible, and if someone reports a sidewalk that is more than 3/4 of an inch raised up, and the city goes out and determines it's the homeowner's responsibility, then what's the next step for the city?
Staff follow the guideline, the enforcement guideline, basically send out notices to these homeowners that are responsible of the damage. Give them a time frame, I believe, about 60 days to repair, but the guideline basically requires this staff to send out 2 notices, and we haven't gotten to that point, but city could go ahead and repair the work and ask for a reimbursement from the property owners.
Okay, and if they refuse to reimburse us?
Here is, this will be included in our recommendation for the continuation of the sidewalk program beginning next year. Until now, even if it's part of the program to enforce the repair of the sidewalk, until this point, the city never enforced that requirement. Based on the process included in our code and in the process approved by you, if after the second notification, the property owner still does not repair the sidewalk, the city will go in, will do the repair, and then the cost of the repair will be lien against the property owner property. This is the next step of enforcement, which wasn't fully implemented yet. Most of the residents were willing to work with the city and showed willingness to work and to do the repair when they were asked. The overall intent of this phase, how was defined, was for the city to show the leadership and to fix all of the deficiencies in the sidewalk, which was the city's responsibility. And with this last contract, that goal will be achieved. All of the known deficiencies for which the city is responsible will be repaired at the end of this contract. The second main purpose was also the public education, that this will be a very extensive public outreach to let the residents know that is their responsibility and they have to take responsibility for the repair of those deficiencies. And this will be incorporated on a ongoing sidewalk repair program with a more aggressive enforcement will be the recommendation. Will be up to you how will be your decision, but will be part of the program description beginning next year.
Okay. Just one more. If somebody goes online to our city site, how would they get to what you're talking about? And so somebody has they know where a sidewalk needs repair. It doesn't look like it's a city, or it doesn't matter. There's a sidewalk piece that needs repair. They go online and they report it, or they call or something. Would they be able to be told at that time, yes, that's on our program, or no, it's not, or how are we working with that?
I think there's a street property damage hotline through the web. So they can either send an inquiry online, and then it's automatically forwarded to the responsible department. And then a lot of residents actually called in and report a complaint. And the city inspector will go out and verify the damage. And we also work with the parks department to verify whether, if we found a tree, whether that is a city-owned and city-maintained tree. And the turnaround usually is about within a week we can give an answer to the property owner.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Chair.
Ken?
Just
Rico,
additional
sorry.
clarification. Right now, in order for a residence to find out specifically if in a certain location the repair will be done, is not other tool available at this time, just for them to call the department, and the department will be able to share that information with the resident.
Okay, so they would get back
Yes.
to that person?
Yes.
Okay, as long as they don't have to wait around too long. That's good.
I know this has been going on. When was the last time we've had the sidewalk surveyed? Does it go back 6 years, 5 years, or how old is the list we're operating off?
The last survey was done in 2004, and this program was based on that survey done in 2004. Since then, the inventory was updated on ongoing basis based on complaint or visual observation during a project or other site visit.
So we have an inventory list of the sidewalks and the concerns, just like as we do the streets when
Yes.
the infrastructure committee meets. Okay, and the letter that goes out to the residents, just for myself and maybe my colleagues, I'd like to see a copy of it just to refresh my memory, and hopefully it's written in an area and in a way that if this is your first dealings with the city, it's inviting, it's clear, it's simple and to the point, and there's a reference point of where they can both get information online or also just picking up the phone.
Irene?
I'm sorry. If we get more than 35 individuals who want to make their repairs on their sidewalk, would you be able to come back and ask us for more money to do more repairs? You know, say 100 people say, oh, I want to be part of this program and have my sidewalk repaired.
If the amount is more than the 15% contingency that we recommended, and it's because of the increased public interest, we can always come back to the city council and recommend an increase of the construction contract based on those numbers.
Okay, I would be really interested to make sure we keep track of that. I think people have suffered a lot in different areas, particularly the older part, and this is a really great program. I know my mother took advantage of it a couple years ago, and she was quite pleased with the results, and it was effortless. So it was a good program, and it's well worthwhile. So thank you.
No resident was refused or turned away that they couldn't participate in the program so far.
Good. Anything else? Action by the council?
One
Ken?
last question. So we know out of these, and you have it broken down from 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches. So we're taking care of everything that's at least 3/4 of an inch and higher and worse. And that's what the 397 is. So if anybody else calls, then it's the understanding that it's less than 3/4 of an inch of a displacement.
All of those locations which are city's responsibilities. Will still be deficiencies in the sidewalk which are not city's responsibilities.
If I could intercede, and I think you asked a question earlier, Councilmember Ibarra, that you may not have given you an answer that is satisfactory. First of all, going back to something that staff said earlier, the inventory that we're using was done in 2004. Things may have changed over time. That inventory has only been updated as to complaints or field observations. So to the extent that new areas have become problematic and they haven't already been inputted into our database, they may remain outstanding after the completion of this project. The thing that I wanted to clarify, though, from your previous comments is that each year of this program, we've had good participation by residents, but we have not had 100% complete participation by residents who have responsibility for sidewalk repairs. So there may remain numbers of areas throughout the city where sidewalk deficiencies exist, and they are not city responsibility by virtue of the language in our code, and that the private property owner who is responsible has not taken effective action, either on their own or via our program. So there has not yet been any enforcement action. If we've got a territory where we're mailing out letters to, how many people are we going to mail this time?
2,000.
Okay, so approximately 2,000 locations that we've observed that there is a sidewalk deficiency. We've budgeted right now for 35 of those private property owners to take advantage of our program. There are still many more that may or may not take advantage of the program. So I want to be clear that this program, as good as it has been in making headway and demonstrating leadership by the city that we're serious about sidewalk repairs and that we're going to do our part, has not yet required private property owners to do what they're responsible to do.
Thank you. That was a little clearer. My concern is that it's not really clear in the staff report that these are just strictly city responsible. I mean, I just caught that it was because due to trees and things. So, and I understand that being on the subcommittee that the city will take responsibility of sidewalk problems that are clearly or even closely related to a tree or infrastructure. But if you're saying there's still 2,000 out there, does the community know that there's a liability issue here? What's going to happen when someone trips over that thing? Is there going to be pointing fingers saying that's the city's responsibility? No, that's your property owner's responsibility. While someone is in the hospital because of a tripping hazard. So I think it's great that we're doing it and everything, but now that I'm finding out that there's still, and property owners are, who knows, how they're reacting. Some people have more concern for their property, visually or whatever, than, than others. Some may not even know. But what I don't want is I don't want previous programs that are letting these people off or something, and then all of a sudden we get into a stronger program, a stronger phase, and now we're really leaning properties, whereas possibly, I just want an understanding that we didn't let property owners off the hook in the previous program. Okay?
Anything else?
Let me try again.
I'm very clear on the 397, and I'm clear, and it's always been that. At first, I wasn't really clear how you came up, how these guys were bidding. I mean, and maybe they didn't go to every one of the 397, cases and look at it and go, okay, I'm going to charge this much, or I'm going to charge this much, and that's how I come up with $399,000. Because it's a whole section of sidewalk that gets taken out. So I think it needs to be a little more informative how they're coming up with it and how those 397 and what is still left. Thanks.
I just want to re-emphasize that the enforcement piece of the program wasn't implemented. After the second letter, the city has the right to go in to do the repair and then to basically hold the property owner responsible. That phase wasn't implemented or wasn't really enforced. How was discussed and how Tina indicated that will be part of our discussion during the CIP recommendation based on our preliminary discussion with the city manager. Our recommendation will be to go by zones and to have each year a inspection done by the city inspector in that zone, and then to focus on all sidewalk repair in that given neighborhood, and to force also property owners to fix their sidewalk. If they are not, then the city will go in, will do the repair, and will hold them financially responsible.
Anything else?
I'll introduce the resolution.
Vice Mayor O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.